And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you with the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live, talking professional wrestling, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get some notifications, some, once when we, go live and with all these other amazing podcasts, or if we decide to produce, or when we decide to produce new, wrestling content. But without further ado, who will win the North American NXT Championship, the women's? I kind of like the direction it's going right now. I love the fact that Stephanie Vaquer, I kind of like that she relinquished it, and I like another ladder match. I do. But I would prefer like an Iron Survivor match. That would be pretty sick. That would be pretty badass. But, hey, it is what it is. Because you kind of had the ladder match, to determine the inaugural one. So I'm like, okay, are you trying to favor Kelani Jordan here? But, an Iron Survivor match for the championship would have been pretty dope. Something that a lot of fans were kind of ultimately kind of upset about. And honestly, if you're kind of Fallon Henley, I'd be upset as well. She had a chance where Fallon Henley, Stephanie Vaquer defended the WWE NXT Women's World Championship against Jada Parker. And then she was beaten up pretty bad by Fatal Influence after the match. She was beaten, battered, and, basically, she was taken out. Could have easily dropped the title back to Fallon Henley, but WWE NXT didn't want that. Like I've kind of alluded to a little bit here, Henley was a good champion. She was all right. I got why they put the championship on Fallon, and, but I more or less kind of understand why they put it on Kelani Jordan. And the way Kelani Jordan right now, she's rolling as well. And the title, like what Stephanie Vaquer said, it does deserve to be defended weekly, what her and Ava ultimately agreed on. And, the new champion at Stand Deliver, a 6-woman ladder match. And, Stephanie Vaquer said ultimately her goal in NXT is to push NXT Women's Division, not to stop it. Looks like Mercedes Moné could learn a thing or two in terms of the AEW Women's Division there. Not trying to take a shot at Mercedes. Well, maybe just a little bit. Jada Parker, obviously, totally upset, stating that she has a claim. And, what she does, but, then you saw Jordynne Grace, and they're not after the NXT Women's North American Championship. They want the prestigious NXT Women's Championship. So we're going to get a number one contenders match, I think, in next week or on tomorrow. Tomorrow, I might. So could be pretty badass. I, for one, am excited to see this. It would be interesting to kind of have a triple threat match between the three, because it kind of seemed like Stephanie Vaquer, once she kind of took a step back, and she's like, oh, well, it looks like you two have some unfinished business. But, love Stephanie Vaquer. Thank God that she's a very thoughtful champion. Relinquishing that championship is ultimately, it's the best for what NXT has right now. And she's clear 1,010%. So we have a ladder match at Stand and Deliver. So far, obviously, like I mentioned before, we have Kelani Jordan, who actually took out the prodigy Roxanne Perez to become a participant. And we have Zaria. So we have two amazing, absolutely, bombshell of an athletes here so far participating in the ladder match. But all in all, who besides the two will be included within the match? So we have 4 more spots. 4 more spots, and we're going to go through them right here. Jakara Jackson, obviously, you had, Last Legend. She lost the champion. She lost the match against Zaria in a hard-hitting match, which was pretty freaking badass. But, Jakara Jackson, I feel like has a little bit of a chance here. And not too much. It would make no sense for her to maybe, to participate. Because if you see her in a lot of matches, she takes a lot of beating, man. She does. Like, during the match, I feel like, WWE creators backstage are like, okay, how are we going to make this match last about 7 minutes? Oh, we have the entrances about, 2 to 3 minutes. And what if for 4 minutes? What if for 4 solid minutes we see Jakara Jackson just getting wrestled and getting absolutely, smashed? No, I'm just kidding. No, she's a great wrestler. And the fact that she kicks out, the fact that she stays intertwined within the match, she doesn't she doesn't tap out or anything like that. This girl's a tough ass broad, man. So, obviously giving a credit to Jakara Jackson, 1,010%. We got Izzy Dame. I would have bought that Izzy Dame is going to be in the ladder match if you didn't have Ricky Starks defeat Shawn Spears for that NXT Men's North American Championship. So now I'm kind of low. I was kind of a little bit, I was getting toward the culling, although they do kind of remind me of like a Charles Manson family kind of cult or whatever. I'm just kidding. Moving on. But I feel like my confidence for the culling is kind of down right now. So I don't think it would be smart for Izzy Dame to be in that match. Carmen Petrovic could be a possibly, maybe she could be in there. I feel like she'll qualify. Maybe. I feel like she'll qualify, but I feel like thanks to her new boyfriend, Ashante the Adonis, she'll find herself short. Maybe that could happen in the ladder match or within the qualifying match. Maybe Lola Vice, I feel like would be an absolute a gem. She would be an absolutely great spot to be in this ladder match. Obviously, this girl's a tough girl. Title worthy. North American champion, I believe, I do like Lola. I do. I feel like she kind of comes off a little strong here. Obviously, I feel like that has to do with a lot of her MMA background. Usually, like MMA backgrounds, like it took Shayna Baszler quite a bit of time to kind of get used to it. Ronda Rousey never did in WWE. But sometimes, you can't come off too strong. So I feel like Lola, she would be an asset to the match. And I feel like maybe Soruka, during the first ladder match, she was that close. And obviously you see her there envying Kelani Jordan's NXT Women's North American Championship. You have Zaria in the match already. A lot of people feel like they're going to be, they're rumored to kind of be in that SmackDown Women's Tag Team Championship Gauntlet match this Friday. So, maybe you have Sol taking on someone where she kind of gets gypped. Maybe like Cora Jade, where Cora Jade finds a way to kind of cheat her way inside of it. But hey, it is what it is. Any of the Fatal Influence people, no. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to be mean. JC Jane, cool. Jasmine Nix, Fallon Henley, she had a rematch. She's kind of done right now. JC Jane, in terms of, TNA Creative, they really, really do like her, according to backstage reports. So, she might find herself success there. But for the North American Championship match, maybe you could throw one of them in there because so far you have two baby faces. You have Zaria and Kelani Jordan. So, maybe Jane, Henley. Henley was in the first ladder match too. Jasmine Nix. One of them might find their way into it. Thea Hail. Thea Hail's still part of the WWE NXT roster. Still very much alive on social media. Ever since Chase U disbanded, a lot of people, what happened to Thea Hail? She makes a surprise entrance inside WWE NXT and finds her way inside that ladder match. Would be interesting because she does have a lot of talent. Like I mentioned before, Cora Jade, she kind of gets into the match, snaking her way in there, kind of being the heel that she is. And, maybe somehow she finds her way as the new NXT North American champion at Stand and Deliver, and thus kind of creating a little bit of an envious relationship between her and her best friend, Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, building up some tensions toward a feud between the best friends. And both of them are absolutely amazing. Both of them are absolute they're dogs inside the ring. They can kill it. They're, in a dogfight, these girls can absolutely do anything within their willpower. You play rough, you play tough, you play dirty. Doesn't matter if this girl's going to pick up a dub. So, excited to see if Cora Jade picks up, she becomes the new North American champion. Shotzi could be there as well. Since coming back to WWE, her NXT, stint. Obviously, being a part with Tatum Chemical X, I think that's what it's called. Tatum Paxley, Gigi Doling, and you have the Shotzi. Shotzi was only supposed to be down in NXT for a little bit of time. Maybe she finds her way back to the WWE main roster. Obviously being patient. Some randoms definitely. Monday Night Raw's Dakota Kai. She could come back. She's a two-time NXT Tag Team Champion, two-time WWE World Women's Champion. So she could definitely. She has the talent. Came twice short of becoming the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Ivy Nile could definitely be within the match as well from Monday Night Raw. Maxine Dupree. On Monday Night Raw last week, you saw her confront Adam Pearce saying that, hey, I want to discuss my future here. I want to definitely 1,010% find out if I'm going to, if I'm going to continue just kind of being this like role player where I'm just like, getting my ass kicked whenever I'm inside the ring. She did participate in the Money in the Bank match, which she kind of, she was decent. So, it could happen. Nikita Lyons, she's been off of NXT. She fights here and there. But no, she was in a smash spot a couple weeks ago on NXT. I think I think it was Zaria or Jordan Grace. It was one of those two. And I really honestly didn't like it for Lyons. I thought it ultimately kind of diminished her value a little bit. I was, she kind of comes off as this, this embracer, this absolute like, she's stocky. This girl's bulky, man. You walk into this girl with an alley, this girl kick your arse. So, I don't know what WWE and NXT is planning to do with Nikita, but it is what it is. Someone from TNA, maybe Alicia Edwards. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. I feel like that would be, pretty badass. Lastly, but not least, we have Xia Brookside possibly participating within the ladder match. So, everything's up in the air. I feel like WWE, with this partnership of TNA, I'm not trying to sound rude or I'm not trying to sound, like a brute. But I feel like TNA has lent NXT a lot more favorable stars than WWE them, if that makes any sense. If there's one title that could possibly change hands, because for a successful relationship, I do feel like, much like you saw when New Japan Professional Wrestling and Ring of Honor and CMLL and AEW came together, Tony Khan's Promotions, you had one AEW superstar win from CMLL. You've had one Ring of Honor superstar win from AEW. So you have to have those titles shift. And it would make sense for, it's up in the air. It's a ladder match. This could definitely happen. If TNA, if this relationship, this partnership wants to be successful, one title from WWE has to be on TNA. But that's my opinion. 1,010%. But, it is what it is. And a lot of people, Giulia, I guess, has been cleared to participate in wrestling. I heard she was at a GCW event where she wrestled Ariana Grace. So she might come back, which would be kind of weird because then, I'm injured. I dropped my NXT World Championship to Stephanie McCare. Oh, I'm coming back just to kind of you kind of recycle the belts there, and she becomes NXT Women's North American Champion. That would be a little weird, but then again, with Giulia being on the roster, you can't really be too upset. I guess the pretty man, the beautiful man. I'm just kidding. No, I can't nail down that accent. Hopefully, nobody takes it offensively. I apologize. Moving on. Well, guys, that's it. Thank you for tuning into my show. I'm Eric Rodriguez, your favorite wrestling fan. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter /X, whatever you like to call it. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook for more content and updates. And remember, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have all these amazing podcasts inside the works. We have Sports by GSMC GSMC Sports with Kenneth. We have Down by Contact Sports with my man Jeremy Lapidus. So make sure you guys check those out. We have all these other amazing podcasters. I'm not gonna mention it because I don't want to mess up. Jake with GSMC College Sports. We have Marab with the GSMC Basketball Podcast. And we have Nolan with our Dead Ball Podcast. Make sure you check those out. We got Matt as well, Matt Quinn, talking everything about the NFL. The NFL is absolutely on fire off season. NFL's king, guys. So if you want to find out all the ins and outs, find out how your team's going to do next season, and see if they're Super Bowl contention worthy, make sure you guys check out Matt's podcast here at the GSMC Sports Network. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Like I said, I will be trying to publish videos. I do, as of right now, I do kind of work 2 to 3 jobs right now. So most importantly, guys, stay safe, hold your loved ones, have fun in this life. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.